Exactly 5 years ago, all humans and animals vanished. My mother, my father, my siblings, my friends, all of them, gone in an instant, without leaving a single trace. No scream, no farewell, only silence. That morning, when I woke up, everything seemed normal. I got out of bed and went to the bathroom to wash my face. I made breakfast. While eating, I watched my favorite TV show. I checked my phone, but there wasn't a single message. This was strange, because every morning my mom or girlfriend would send me a message. I immediately called my mom, but she didn't answer. That didn't feel right, because we talked every morning. When my mom didn't pick up, I tried calling my girlfriend, then my other friends, but none of them answered. At that moment, an uneasy feeling started to grow inside me. I looked out the window, and what I saw shocked me. The cars on the streets weren't moving. They looked abandoned. I rushed outside, and the sight filled me with horror. There was no one. The cars just sat there, frozen in the middle of the road. In the restaurants, meals were left unfinished on the tables. Steam was still rising from the coffee cups. Everywhere I looked, there was horror. It was as if someone had pressed a button and wiped out all life on Earth. I immediately got into my car and drove to my mother's house. The city was so quiet that the sound of my car seemed to fill the entire sky. When I arrived at my mother's house, I started ringing the doorbell frantically. No one answered. Then I broke down the door with all my strength and went inside. There was no one there. Had I gone mad? Was I trapped in a dream? Where had everyone gone? The smell of my mother's cooking still lingered in the air, and my father's newspapers lay scattered on the table. It was as if they had been there just a moment ago and had suddenly vanished without a trace. I'm James. I've been alone in the world for 5 years. With each passing day, I feel myself losing my sanity, and I'm still searching for an answer. The first months passed in fear and panic. I had locked myself inside the house, too afraid to step outside. The loneliness was unbearable. I cried every night. The only question I kept asking myself was, why me? Why hadn't what happened to everyone else happened to me? Why was I the only one left behind? I could feel myself slowly losing my mind. Over time, I stopped being afraid, simply because I had grown tired of it. My fear gradually turned into curiosity, and even, in a strange way, a bit of amusement. The world had turned into a giant playground, and I was its only player. There were no borders, no rules. The first thing I did was take the luxury cars that stood frozen in the streets. Suddenly, I found myself speeding down roads I had never traveled before. Then, I began exploring the most expensive shopping malls in my country. I could take anything I wanted freely. I bought myself the most expensive clothes and watches. I even paid compliments to the mannequins in the stores, telling them how beautiful they looked. Of course, none of them ever answered me, but that was fine. This new life, in a strange way, made me feel freer than I had ever felt before. I brought the mannequins from the store into my house and threw a party. We all had so much fun, but once the party was over, I kicked them out of my home, because they were too messy and never helped with the cleaning. One night, I gathered my courage and stepped outside. It was the first time, since I had never dared to go out after dark. I got into my car and drove to a mountainous area. I gazed at the stars, thinking that everything would go on like this forever. I was the only person left in the world, and I had begun to enjoy it. No rules, no responsibilities. I was free. But that freedom was on the verge of turning into a cage, and I didn't even realize it. Exactly 1 year had passed since the annihilation. I hadn't gotten used to this horrifying event. Yet, in some way, I was trying to adjust to my new life. One day, I went outside in search of water and food. Finding supplies wasn't as easy as it had been in the beginning, because the electricity in some stores was cut off, causing the food to spoil. That day, I walked for hours. There wasn't a place I hadn't explored. Just then, I heard a voice from a nearby street. "James, I'm here, come over," it said. At that moment, I was so terrified that my heart felt like it would burst out of my chest. I hadn't heard a human voice in a long time. On one hand, the sound thrilled me. I wondered if it could be someone else who had survived, like me. I started running toward the street from which the voice came. When I entered the street, I couldn't see anyone. Had I imagined it? I looked around. The street was completely empty. Only the walls of ruined buildings, shards of broken glass, and silence surrounded me. Just as I was about to give up hope and turn back, the voice called out to me again. "James, I'm here." I immediately ran toward the road from which the voice had come. This time, I had found her. Before approaching, I studied her for a moment. She was a girl about my age and appeared very calm. I asked her name. She said it was Mary. I asked how she knew my name, but she didn't answer. She just stared at me. I then told her to tell me her story. She began to tell me about the day it all started. She had woken up early in the morning and was getting ready for school, but she sensed something was wrong. At home, neither her mother, father, nor siblings were there. She immediately went outside and saw the same horrifying scene I had seen. Abandoned cars, deserted streets. After a while, she had accepted everything and started struggling to survive. She was just like me, helpless, weak, and alone. After listening to her story, I suddenly ran to her and hugged her. Hugging her felt so good that I didn't let go for a long time. The days I spent with Mary were so beautiful that I lost track of time, until I learned the full truth. It had been a month since I met Mary. We were having such a wonderful time together that it felt as if we had been friends for years. The days I spent with Mary were completely different from the lonely times I had lived before. Every morning, we would go for a walk, exploring the empty streets and singing at the top of our lungs. Evenings were our favorite moments. We would climb up to the rooftop and watch the stars for hours, sharing funny memories from the past and laughing together. One time when she was in class, she farted right next to the boy she liked. She was so embarrassed that she ran out of school without saying a word to the teacher, and she didn't go back for a whole week. When she told me about it, I laughed so hard. She got annoyed at me for laughing, but after a while, she started laughing too. One day, we went to a place like an amusement park. It had everything: a soccer field, a basketball court, bike paths. We had fun there all day long. First, we rode our bikes and raced each other. I slowed down on purpose so she could win. But when she did, she made fun of me for it. After that, we played basketball. But this time, I was the better one. She could never take the ball from me. Every time I scored, she teased me by saying I was cheating. But no matter what, we were having so much fun. Mary's laughter was so pure and heartfelt that I felt a joy I had never experienced before. The sun was shining above us, the wind was blowing through our hair, and the emptiness of the city couldn't take away from the happiness of that moment. The time I spent with her made me forget about reality. It felt as if I had been reborn. Loneliness no longer consumed me, and every day a new adventure was waiting for us. One day, we decided to go out again. We walked through the empty streets of the city, rode our bikes, and spent the entire day to the fullest. It had been such a wonderful day. We had so much fun, yet we were completely exhausted. When evening came, we returned home. As always, we went to our separate rooms. While drifting off to sleep, I thought about Mary's presence and the peace she brought me. I even planned what we would do in the days ahead, because there were still so many places we hadn't seen, so many things left to do. In the morning, the very first thing I was going to do was talk to Mary about it. But I had no idea what awaited me. When I woke up in the morning, I went to Mary's room to talk about our plans for the day. I didn't find her in bed. I thought maybe she had woken up before me to prepare breakfast. But when I went to the kitchen, She still wasn't there. I frantically searched every corner of the house, but she was nowhere to be found. I thought she might have gone outside, but she would never leave without letting me know. From that moment, the hope inside me began to crumble. I immediately went outside and started looking for Mary. I searched every corner, every street, every place we had been together. I looked on the roads where we had ridden our bikes. I climbed onto rooftops and waited for hours under the stars. I shouted with all my might, hoping she could hear me. I continued searching for her for days, weeks. At first, I thought something might have happened to her. Maybe she was hiding. Maybe she was playing a game with me. I kept lying to myself. But as time passed, that silence, that darkness, forced me to face the truth. Mary didn't exist. She had never existed. It was all a game my mind was playing on me. I had created her. Because I was losing my mind day by day, I couldn't bear this endless loneliness. A face, a voice, a laugh. I had made it all up myself. When I realized this, I was completely devastated. It felt as if my heart had shattered into pieces, because at that moment, I understood that the happiness I had felt wasn't mine. It wasn't real. I had only been deceiving myself. Yet still, Mary reminded me what it felt like to be alive. In the moments I spent with her, I was so happy that I felt like a child. Her laughter made me feel youthful again. And even though it was all an illusion, the joy those moments gave me was real. Now only silence remains. The streets are empty again. The stars are cold as ever. And I am alone again. I missed everyone so much. My mother, my father, my siblings, my friends. Sometimes at night, I look up at the sky, searching for their faces among the stars. I hope, maybe somewhere, they are watching over me. The hardest part is this. I don't even know when I'll die. Tomorrow? A month from now? Years from now? I don't know. I'll never know. All I know is that with each passing day, I grow a little more exhausted. Mary is gone. My family is gone. No one is left. In the darkness, I can hear nothing but my own footsteps. Alone again, just like before. And this time, I'm completely devastated.